Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We have a loaded show today as we have some breaking news surrounding Mitchell Robinson. We'll get to that in a sec. We're also going to touch on the latest trade rumors surrounding the Knicks that involve a familiar face in Reggie Bullock. First, give me a follow on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. That's another way you can stay up to date on the latest Knicks news and rumors. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. Just DM me 23 so I know you came from this video. Let's start with big number 23, Money Mitch. Robinson left the game last night versus the Washington Wizards with a broken right thumb. And now it is being said he underwent successful surgery this morning, and he is going to be out and be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So he's going to miss a minimum of 3 weeks, which is an absolute brutal blow to this Knicks team. When you look at the stat sheet like we will in a second, you don't really see how much value Robinson has to this team. But he's the best defender on this team. He's the best rim protector. He's the best rebounder. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Julius Randle. Number one in every single box-out category in the NBA. He averages over 8 offensive rebounds every 100 possessions. It is going to be tough to replace Mitchell Robinson over these next 3 weeks when the schedule gets really, really tough, especially with the game coming up against the Boston Celtics. We'll touch more on Robinson, Hartenstein, Sims, and Bullock in a second. But this is why you subscribe. When we have breaking news, we get you guys a video as soon as possible. We put out videos every single day on the latest Knicks news and rumors. So if that's something you're looking for, go down right now, hit that big red button. Let's hope Mitchell Robinson gets back as soon as possible. When you do look at the stat sheet, though, you can see that the guy is a very valuable player. 7.2 points per game, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks per game, 67% from the field. He's special. He really is. Does he have some flaws in his game? No doubt about it. He still fouls too much. He still chases too many blocks and gets himself out of position on the defensive glass. I think he needs to be a much better free throw shooter. But no doubt about it, this is going to be a brutal loss for the New York Knicks. You're going to lose your starting center for the next 3 weeks, a guy that is the anchor to this defense. When the Knicks have gone on these runs and put together and stacked wins on top of wins, it's when Robinson is playing his best basketball. He makes life for Julius Randle easier on the glass. He makes life for the perimeter guards for the New York Knicks easier because they know if they get blown by, big number 23, Mitchell Robinson, the blockness monster, is going to be right there protecting this rim. Now it comes down to who's going to take his spot. It's either going to be Jericho Sims or it's going to be Isaiah Hartenstein. Tom Thibodeau said last night that he felt comfortable with the depth that the Knicks have with Sims and Isaiah Hartenstein. He also said Julius Randle could play some 5, so maybe that means we get some Randle and Obi Toppin minutes. But for me, you got to start Jericho Sims. Jericho is more of a Mitchell Robinson type of player than Hartenstein is. He can do some of the things that Robinson does, like protect the rim, catch alley-oops, and be a defensive player and show, actually, in my opinion, a little bit more switchability on the perimeter. Whereas Hartenstein, I'd like to see him be a little bit more of a playmaker on that second unit. I think we need a defensive anchor in that first unit, and I like Jericho Sims a little bit more than Hartenstein. I would still like Hartenstein to play a good number of minutes, even though I'm not a big fan, but I want to see Jericho Sims in that starting lineup next to the other starting 4 while Mitchell Robinson is out. But I'll ask you guys, pick one of these guys to start while Mitchell Robinson is out. Who would you rather it be? Type their jersey number. 55 for Isaiah Hartenstein, 45 for Sims. I'd go Sims, more athletic, better rim protector, better alley-oop threat. And I think he's a better defender than a guy like Hartenstein, but I want to hear from the real ones. Let me know what you think down below. We're going to get to those trade rumors coming up on Reggie Bullock and Cam Reddish in a second. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to our proud sponsor, Rocket Money. In 2023, I told myself I want to save money, and I'm going to use Rocket Money to do that. I use it every single day. Go to rocketmoney.com/NBA now. They like to organize and optimize all of your finances. They'll help you cancel your unused subscriptions with just a tap. And I love the fact that they keep track of your monthly expenses. So they let you know how much you're spending, where you're spending. And Forbes has declared it as the app that will save you hundreds of dollars. We negotiate you to also help you lower your existing bills. I like that as well. If Rocket Money thinks you're paying too much, they're going to go to bat for you, try to lower those bills. And they also monitor events that affect your credit score. I also love their feature when you get to view all your subscriptions on one screen, so you visually get to see what you're being charged for. Maybe you've been double charged for something, or maybe you're being charged for something you didn't even know you signed up for. Well, if you are, you can cancel those subscriptions with just a tap. Get stay on top of upcoming bills. If you want to manage your money better, Rocket Money is going to help you do that. Get started today. That link, rocketmoney.com/NBA Now, is in the comments and description of today's show. From injury news to trade rumors, and this almost doesn't even sound like trade rumors anymore. This sounds like trade news. I know it's not official, but Mark Stein pretty much said these things are heating up. There were reports this morning coming out from Knicks beat writers that it sounds like this is getting closer and closer, and the report is that the Knicks want Reggie Bullock back in a Knicks uniform if they were to trade Cam Reddish to the Mavs, which sounds like the Mavs are somewhat interested in. This is what Mark Stein had to say. He said the Knicks have redoubled their efforts to find a new home for Reddish, with essentially 3 weeks to go until the deadline. With the Dallas Mavericks having joined the Milwaukee Bucks and the Los Angeles Lakers on the list of known potential trade partners, Reddish has been unable to win trust or regular minutes from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau since New York acquired him from Atlanta just over a year ago. If Reddish were to wind up in Dallas, it would be a full circle change of address for 23-year-old who was selected number 10 overall by the Hawks in the 2019 NBA draft, with the pick that Dallas packaged to Atlanta as a part of the Luka Doncic for Trae Young draft day swap in 2018. Sources say the Knicks, though, are angling for Dallas to send Tom Thibodeau his favorite, Reggie Bullock, back to New York in a Reddish deal, who is likewise held in high regard by the Mavericks. Look, on paper, I think the guy with more potential is obviously Cam Reddish, but he's collected 20-plus straight DNPs. He's not getting back in the rotation. I thought Stein said it perfectly. He has been unable to win over Tom Thibodeau, whatever it is. And for that point, and the fact that you can trade someone that ain't playing, that has a little bit of trade value across the NBA, get whatever you can for Reddish. If you can just get a guy that Thibodeau is going to play, so we lower the impact of minutes that the other guys have, I think that's a win. And Reggie Bullock is a guy that has the absolute most trust and earned the trust of Tom Thibodeau. This year, he's really not playing all that well. He's playing better as of late, but he's shooting sub 40% from the field and 34% from three, almost 35%. I think he shoots 5.5 field goals per game, and 4.5 of those are three-point attempts. So we know Bullock is going to let it fly from three and play good perimeter defense. But if we get the player that was once here in New York for 94 games in 2 seasons, I'm totally cool with that. I just don't know if that guy is – that is Reggie Bullock, but I don't know if that's Reggie Bullock anymore, if you know what I'm saying. In New York, he was great, though. 10 points per game, 3.1 rebounds, 43% from the field, 39% from three. But I'm not sure Dallas is going to just give him up for a guy like Cam Reddish. You may have to add something in there. He's been a great player in the playoffs for them. He's starting to play better, but the Knicks do need more shooting. The Knicks need more perimeter defense, and that is what Reggie Bullock brings you. That would lower the minutes for R.J. Barrett. That would lower the minutes, I think, for a guy like Julius Randle, because you could play a little bit of small ball, a little bit, with Reggie Bullock at the 4. He'll be the wing off the bench. I think he'll also mentor a guy like Quentin Grimes. I think it helps out a lot. I don't really like how Reggie Bullock at one point was talking shit about the Knicks when he left, but it is what it is. He was probably just salty. The Knicks didn't want him back and chose Alec Burks over him. I still don't really understand that, but I do think it's a conversation to have, and I think I would do it. If you could get Reddish for Bullock straight up, I'd do it. If you want Shvi Mikhailuk, you could take Shvi. But I'll ask you, would you trade Cam Reddish for Reggie Bullock? If you were the Knicks GM, would you do it? Type T for trade, type P for pass. And I want to bring on our Dallas Mavericks channel owner here at Chat Sports. Longtime fan of the Mavs. Coop, what up, Jeffrey Cooperstein? Shout out to Coop. Always doing magic behind the scenes. He loves the Mavs. He's a Mavs diehard. I want to get your take on this trade, Coop. So just let it go. I don't even have to, bring it up for you.
Reggie Bullock played great in the second half of last year in the playoffs en route to the Western Conference Finals, but the first half of last year, first half of this year, he couldn't hit water from a boat. I mean, it was terrible watching him the Mavs had him in the starting lineup to begin the year. They had to start bringing him off the bench because he just wasn't making those open catch-and-shoot looks from Luka. At this point, if Reddish was offered in a deal for Bullock, I would heavily consider it, depending on what the other pieces in the deal are. But it's not something I wouldn't shut down completely, for sure.
Yeah, I just want Knicks fans to understand that Bullock hasn't really, in spurts, showed what he was with the Knicks, but overall, kind of a disappointment, maybe a little bit for the Mavs. I know he was great in the playoffs, but overall, I think a little bit of maybe of a disappointment.
Yeah, I would say it's a disappointment. They gave him the mid-level deal, so he's making $10 million a year. It's an affordable contract to be traded, but you would expect more from him, especially because all of his looks are basically corner
he's
threes.
Getting wide open looks from Luka.
They're corner threes that are wide open. He just has to make more of them, and he hasn't done that lately, and you would expect more out of him.
Yeah, I think I would do it for the simple fact that people are going to be like, we're giving up way too much, but you're not giving up anyone in Reddish. He doesn't even freaking play at this point anymore, and I'm going to be honest, I think Reddish still has potential. I'd like to see him next to a guy like Luka that I think could get him open looks, push the break a little bit with him. I mean, he's a 6'8" wing. We all know what Cam Reddish is supposed to be.
Yeah, and the Mavs need more talent overall because that roster right now is just not good. They've lost 3 straight. They're 24-22, sitting there, I think, at 5th in the West right now. So they definitely need a shakeup, and Reddish has the talent to be able to be, not even a number 2, but a number 3 guy next to Luka on a contending team.
Yeah, if he hits his potential, he's going to be a good player. Just that's the biggest if of his career. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Coop for chiming in, dropping some Mavs knowledge. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Videos every single day. Breaking news. We got you covered. YouTube.com/KnicksTV.